Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. An absolute privilege to watch. Eala dazzles on Eastbourne debut. When the sea wind dances through the Sussex coast and the grass courts of Devonshire Park whisper under footfalls, magic tends to happen. And on a warm Eastbourne afternoon, kissed by sunshine, watched by locals and global eyes alike, something more than just tennis played out on court too. It was the coming of age, or perhaps the blossoming, of a 19-year-old Filipino, with fire in her eyes and silk in her strokes. Eala. It was her first time at Eastbourne, her debut. You wouldn't have guessed. The crowd arrives early. They trickled in early, long before the scheduled match. Tennis diehards with strawberries in one hand, binoculars in the other. Teenagers wearing bucket hats, curious about the young woman they'd seen on Instagram. Filipino flags peeked out of backpacks, folded neatly next to hand-painted signs. Vamos, Alex. Who's this Eala? Asked one elderly gentleman near the gate. His friend, a veteran of many Wimbledon cues, replied, "She's the one Rafa trained. From the Philippines. Supposed to be a lefty magician." Minutes later, they, like the rest of us, would become believers. The match begins. Eala's opponent, a seasoned top 40 player, with a reputation for baseline brutality, was expected to test her. Not just in skill, but in nerve. Eastbourne, after all, is no playground. It's a proving ground for Wimbledon. It's where blades of grass remember battles. But Eala stepped onto the court like she belonged there. Dressed in deep blue, headband tight, she glanced once at her box, her coach, her mother, her younger brother cheering softly, and then turned to face the net. From the first ball, it was clear. She wasn't here to participate. She was here to leave a mark. Her movement was balletic. Her left-handed serve, with its graceful kick and disguised flat variation, caught even the line judges leaning the wrong way. But it was her backhand down the line, sweet, snapping, lethal, that truly hushed the murmurs. A performance, not just a match. By the fourth game, the buzz around the grounds was audible. "She's breaking her opponent with rhythm," said a BBC analyst watching from the press seats. "It's poetry, but with sharp edges." She went up 4-1 in the first set, mixing her shots with an artist's touch. Drop shots that kissed the net, lobs that hung in the air like prayers. When her opponent attempted to rally with power, Eala countered with control. When speed was needed, she found it. When patience was required, she waited, like the tide. She won the first set 6-3, a fist pump punctuating the final point, modest but firm. "She plays with the calm of someone older," said another commentator. "Yet the joy of someone who's only just beginning." And that's the paradox that makes her such a wonder. The Filipino flame. For those who know where she comes from, this was not just a tennis story. It was a cultural moment. The Philippines is not a nation known for grass courts, humidity, typhoons, basketball courts on every block. This is the backdrop of Eala's origin. Her rise is not just about her talent, but about bending the arc of possibility. She's the first Filipina to win a junior Grand Slam, US Open 2022, the first to consistently compete on the pro circuit with serious impact, and now, possibly, a real contender on grass. When she broke serve again in the second set, a small section of the crowd erupted with chants in Tagalog. Others joined in, clapping in rhythm. She smiled, shy but electric. It felt like watching a star realize she's a star. Not without fight. Of course, no Eala match is complete without a battle. Midway through the second set, the veteran opponent dug deep, using heavy slices and angles to draw the teenager wide, trying to rattle her rhythm. And, for a few tense games, it seemed to work. Eala was broken at 3-2, then again 4-3. She dropped her racket in frustration after a misdone forehand floated wide. The crowd, sensing the shift, fell silent. But champions are not measured by how cleanly they win. They are measured by how they recover. At 4-5, with the match slipping away, Eala stepped up to serve. And in that game, possibly the best game of the match, she fired 2 aces, 1 winner, and chased down an impossible drop shot to hold. At 5-5, she looked up at the sky, took a deep breath, and turned the tide. She broke serve again, this time with a blistering return that painted the baseline. Then she served for the match. The moment. On match point, the crowd held its breath. Eala tossed the ball, hit a spinning serve out wide, and followed it with a forehand that clipped the line. Her opponent lunged. Missed. Game. Set. Magic. Alex fell to her knees for a second, just a second. Not in drama, but in awe. Then she rose and jogged to the net. The standing ovation began before the handshake ended. A star rises. Later, in her post-match interview, she was humble. I just wanted to play my game. It's an honor to be here in Eastbourne, and I'm grateful for the support. When asked about the crowd, she blushed. It felt like playing at home, she said. I didn't expect that. It means everything. What she didn't say, what she didn't need to say, is what we all felt. This wasn't just a win. This was a beginning, a notice, an arrival, epilogue, the echo of grass. As the sun dipped over Eastbourne and the courts emptied, the buzz lingered. She's got the timing of a young Martina, said one coach near the players' lounge. No, she's her own thing. Something new, replied another. And perhaps that's the truth. Eala is not the next anyone. She's the first her. On a patch of green thousands of miles from Manila, in a sport still learning to diversify its heroes, she gave the crowd something they didn't expect. Not just a great match, but a glimpse of the future. And, as one older spectator put it, walking out into the fading sky, that was an absolute privilege to watch. An absolute privilege to watch. Eala dazzles on Eastbourne debut. The English seaside breeze fluttered through the stands at Devonshire Park as Alexandra Eala stepped onto the center court of Eastbourne for the first time. One glance at her, poised, determined, radiant, was enough to send a ripple of anticipation through a crowd that goose-stepped in rhythm with her every heartbeat. At 19, the young Filipina had already made waves on hard courts, from the Miami Sunshine to the Rafa Natal Academy stages. But grass was new territory. Yet this debut, it felt timeless. From the moment her first serve cracked into the summer air, Eala was more than a newcomer. She was a revelation. Butterfly on grass. Grace meets firepower. Under the canopy of June skies, Eastbourne unfolds like a beautifully curated, intimate theater. The grass whispers under players' feet, and the crowd, ever tennis-savvy, comes here not to parade but to watch, to witness each drop shot, each backhand angle. One British spectator once mused that there's a massive tennis culture here, saying fans just come to watch tennis, not to watch certain individuals. Naturahoy.com. In that context, how poetic that Eastbourne should cradle Eala's debut. From the baseline, she danced, feet kissing the turf, strokes sculpted with both purpose and poetry. Her forehand arsed, her backhand sliced, her lefty serve, though not the fastest, had wedges of subtlety that kept opponents guessing. She moved as though she'd been cultivated for this moment. Composure harvested, nerves pruned, celebration contained. The moment that froze time. It's tempting in sports narratives to treat every tournament round win like a spiritual awakening. But at Eastbourne, Eala's authenticity, her unwavering focus point by point, made it raw. Unlike flashes of youthful turbulence, her debut radiated calm, maturity, and a laser-like presence. There wasn't the dramatic sobbing, the flailing racket, but a quiet assertion that resonated deeper. I belong here. That moment, etched in faces both in the stands and on court, crystallized that Eastbourne wasn't just another debut. It was a coming home. The Miami foreshadowing. If Eastbourne was the curtain rising, Miami had been the overture. In late March, Eala was casting eyes upward, not from the stands, but across the net, for someone who once inspired her. Iga Swiatek. As a Rafa Natal Academy graduate, she had once shared the stage with the pole during graduation. 2 years later, she faced her in Miami, hearts pounding and rackets ready. Eala didn't just play her idol. She dismantled her. The result sent shockwaves. A 6-2, 7-5 upset that roared through tennis headlines and Filipinese hearts alike. It was one of the biggest WTA surprises of the season, and it put Eala on the map, destined for center court showdowns like Eastbourne. Now as she stepped on that green stage, there was no doubting her credentials. She had taken down world no. 2, toppled slam winners like Jelena Ostapenko and Madison Keys. Eastbourne's grass courts were not terra incognita. They were Eala's next frontier. Eastbourne's emotional ecosystem. There's something sacred about Eastbourne. Its history runs thick. Founded in 1894, with a heritage of British tennis triumph paired with international flair. That's precisely what Eala delivered. Immediacy. Every ground stroke punctuated with purpose. Every rally wrapped in tension. The crowd leaned in, collectively holding its breath. Each rally felt like an epic novel, unfolding in real time. Thunderclouds of effort and sunbursts of brilliance intermingled in every point.